I've decided to buy refurbished phones from both Apple's own refurbished program, Apple Certified Refurbished, and Samsung's secret equivalent, Samsung Certified Renewed. Well, it's not really secret, but it's really not very well known. Apple and Samsung are the two giants of the phone world, so I think it'll be interesting to see a comparison of their own personal refurbished programs to find out which is the champion of condition, buying experience, and of course, cold, hard value. First, let's order from our Korean friends. Here's the Samsung store, mobile, certified renewed. To be honest, they have a really terrible range available here in the UK. I'll get the latest model available to me here, the S21 Plus, even though it's all the way back from 2021. For comparison, on the US version of Samsung's renewed store, they even had the S23 line. I checked. Now, Samsung don't offer a variety of conditions like the refurbished marketplaces like Amazon Renewed and Backmarket do. They just promise an incredibly detailed part inspection and, more uniquely, a replaced battery and all original parts. Something that can be somewhat of a concern with refurbished devices from the other marketplaces. This S21 Plus is £319, which I think it's fair to say is not a particularly competitive price, but it is straight from Samsung with their warranty, and they're promising a like-new experience. Hence the name Renewed. In fact, they really try to make a point of this. But is it going to beat Apple's mere refurbished experience? Free next day shipping with an account too. Okay, bye. On to the Apple one. Store, shop special stores, certified refurbished, iPhone. Luckily, the iPhone 13 is still available, which is the iPhone released in 2021, the same year as our S21, so it'll be a somewhat fair test. However, it's worth highlighting that this is the oldest, not newest, offering from Apple. They promise a familiar list of things, but in addition to the replaced battery, they also include replaced shell. Whether that is strictly just the frame and buttons, or if it includes the screen, is not quite clear, but I once ordered from them before, and the casing and the screen were both indistinguishable from a new phone, so I do have high hopes. I'm very curious to see if the Samsung will live up to this, because they didn't mention replacing the shell. We'll make sure to inspect them very closely when they arrive. Price is also up there, though not quite as bad as I was expecting. At $419, it's $100 more than the Samsung, and while that sounds worse, especially as the iPhone 13 was actually a cheaper phone at release than the S21 Plus. There is also the other side, because iPhones hold their value much better than Samsung's. This is actually much closer to its market value. Okay, let's buy. Oh, Apple doesn't make you sign up for free shipping. Nice. They've both arrived, both next day delivery as promised, which is really damn impressive. First, here is the Samsung one in the thicker box. It's got quite a lot of shake in there, so I hope it's well padded. Gosh. And here's the Apple one. Much less shake. Okay, let's open them. Samsung first, the larger one. Let's get this plastic off. A cardboard box, which has clearly been bashed around a bit as it has a nasty dent on the corner. Thanks, DPD. Ready to get started? Pull this tab. That was smooth. Your Galaxy is waiting, and for a bit longer because of that useless tab. Anything more exciting than a delivery from Samsung? Well, probably one from Apple. Let's just remove that. We can see how the phone was sliding around now. Sleek black box. Samsung Certified Renewed. Do not accept if seal is broken. Okay, let's open up. Ooh, touch of dust in there, but the phone has film on top. We'll come back to that in a sec. Just this mini Samsung box here. SIM tool on the back. I'm growing quite the collection of these. I'm hoping they'll be worth something after the apocalypse. Quick start guide, etc. And a cable. Double-ended USB-C. It doesn't feel like a particularly high-quality one, despite being direct from Samsung. And onto the main act. Well, the first half, anyway. Ooh, look at that. Very clean. A little more tape around the edges. And the lenses, just a touch dusty, but credit where it's due, I can't see a mark on this. And not on the edges either, it's absolutely flawless. I gotta give it to Samsung, this is every bit as good as I'm expecting from Apple. Okay, let's turn on now. Samsung Galaxy, what a surprise. Oops, it's just gone off. I really hope that's just the battery. It comes on again when I plug in the charger, a good sign. It's a bit naff for them to send it uncharged. It doesn't make a good first impression. I know it's probably just been sitting in a warehouse for a while, but I'll wager the Apple one ain't going to be dead out of the box. We'll come back to that in a few. Meanwhile, let's open the iPhone. Oh, and what we'll do after having a look at the iPhone's condition is we're going to check both of their battery healths and make sure they're both fully working. It's a paper bag this time, less waterproof but more satisfying to slice into. I know, real cutting takes on this channel. Flat cardboard box inside. Still just a little rattle. Another pull tab. We're having the Apple versus Samsung battle of the pull tabs. Apple wins, thanks for watching. iPhone 13, looks like it's framed in here. Here's where it was able to rattle a little bit. Interesting box design. Apple certified refurbished. They've gone with a sleek white box, really showing off their creativity, these trillion-dollar companies. Could it be more pull tabs? Right, let's open. Not coming off. Oops, I'm the twaddle. Forgot the bottom one. Ooh, dark blue. Wait, doesn't it look like smear marks around the lens rings? Don't know how well that shows up on camera, but I see it clearly. And it doesn't seem to come off with a cloth either. I'm really surprised coming from Apple. Hopefully no more surprises. Just the normal SIM tool, papers and complimentary sticker. I think it's meant to be a pair. A USB-C to Lightning cable. It's got that soft touch feel to it that makes it feel more premium than the one Samsung supplied. To me at least. Okay, peely time. Ooh, perfectly clean too. That's a relief. And the back. Those lens rings. I wonder if they used some sort of chemical cleaner around the lenses, which has left a mark on the paint. Thankfully, the rest of the sides and the back are utterly flawless. They really are terrible fingerprint magnets though. I swear I should wear gloves while doing these. Okay, let's turn on. Okay, they're both set up and I discovered something interesting but also quite irritating while doing so. The iPhone is basically already on current software out of the box, but the Samsung is not just not on current software, it's a full 2 Android versions short of it. But when you try to update it, it doesn't go directly to Android 14, it demands to go through Android 13 together with other minor updates first. So I ended up stuck in this hellish cycle of small and then major updates for some hours. So another massive point to Apple for the experience. Now let's check their battery health. The iPhone is at the full 100%, perfect. The Samsung, on the other hand, gives a less specific rating. They don't give us the battery health as a percentage, but you still get some info under device care. They give us good on our plus over here, which is the best result. However, that does include a fair range. But they do usefully provide a whole suite of other diagnostic stuffs, which can be useful. As you can see, both screens respond positively to physical affection and appear to be fully functional. Let's check their cameras and then we're basically done. I mean, they both fully work, which is the main thing as concerns us, and honestly still take some pretty damn good photos. For more details, check out the reviews of them by vastly more competent people than me from a couple of years back when they were new. Lastly, but very importantly, we need to mention support, because there's a big difference here. If you buy a phone brand new, whether it will be supported for 4 or 6 years feels like a very distant consideration. But when you buy a 3-year-old one, it's much more relevant. And while Apple has been really industry leading with their support for the iPhones, Samsung not so much. Until recently they only promised about 4 years. And this folds into the point of value where it's very hard not to favour Apple, because while it is more expensive, iPhones on the wider used and refurbished market are too. In all, they've both been impressive, really top-of-the-class refurbished, as you'd expect at these prices. Apple's experience wiping the floor with Samsung, but Samsung, to my surprise, actually delivering a slightly more flawless phone. Though there is one last thing to mention, which is that Samsung doesn't seem to be restocking their refurbished program here in the UK at present, meaning that they may only be available in the US in future. Thank you for watching, please subscribe. I know where you live. No, it's not the right approach.